approach to help therapists assist their patients to achieve life improvement quicker using 3D puzzle technology. Okay, a friend of us had an accident, a car accident, some kind of whiplash, and she lost some kind of brain function. And she had seen the puzzle we had, and which are in the category of sequential movement puzzle. And she said if she had access to such puzzle, her recovery would have been quicker. So what we discovered, if you have some arrangement of cube like that with inch, a lot of people, maybe 50% of you, are not able to put them in a straight line. And that gives us idea for the puzzle. And could this puzzle help people situate themselves in space and move objects in space? So we found by studying a number of skills or some of the benefits for a user, coordination, dexterity, patience, etc. We have a whole list, that's only a couple of samples. And focus. Now, these were the guideline in our development. Well, it goes just below the screen. Okay? Now, the team, as I mentioned earlier, it's my wife and myself, and we have different skills. I don't want to elaborate on them, but we have different skills. And we already have built an extensive portfolio of development tools and building blocks for the puzzle. That's my watch. The building blocks we are using for the puzzle are different. They could be cube, a pyramid, a sphere of various sizes. Okay, and the articulation between the element of the cubes are either visible or invisible. That gives you an example of what kind of articulation we have, and we simulate by software. Now, the content of our apps for the puzzle are a collection of puzzles ranging from 6 to 16 elements. And they could be mixed up. You have different kind of elements, and we try to make in a app the puzzle of various difficulties, increasing difficulty, so people will learn how to do it properly. Now, the key feature we have when we have such puzzle, we should make sure that we prevent the collision between the puzzle, the element of the puzzle, and also illegal rotation. And we have developed algorithms to prevent the collision and to prevent illegal rotation. And we have added some features such as score tracking, number, the time, and click. Now, we have developed user interface which are very intuitive for children, adults, seniors, and people with mental disorder. Now, I will give you just a 20-second sample here. If it starts. Oh yeah, there is no sound here, but it's okay. It's a screenshot from a sample. Yes, you have succeeded. Congratulations. Now, what is the genesis of that project? I use Genesis because it's coming from the Bible. One day I was curious, and I was looking at Ephesians 3, verse 18, when they said, wide, long, high, and deep. And I said, well, that's not 3 dimensions, that's 4 dimensions. So it represents in 4-dimension space a hypercube, also called a tesseract or an 8 cell, and it does unfold in our 3D space as a 3D cross. okay, which is, if you read the Bible, the love of Christ. Okay, so we develop a bunch of prototypes of different size. Okay. Okay, we have that one. Okay, well, you know, it's difficult to solve these things. Seems to be good at solving it, but oh yeah. You know, that's one of the original of the puzzle. Oh my goodness. Well, you have to help me. So we decided to make a smaller one. That one, you know, for everybody to see. Okay? And we have some made in wood, we made in plastic, in all kinds of material. That was the origin of the project. Okay, I put them there. Okay, they are quite fragile. If you want to touch them, be careful. Okay. So, if you like art, you will find that the Spanish painter Salvador Dali was dealing with 4 dimensions, 3 dimensions, and 2 dimensions, and the hypercube is mentioning it. Okay, the focus we had initially was to make a puzzle, if I find it, it's somewhere. 3D, okay, we made one in 3D printing. Okay, it's made in one piece. Articulations are made in one piece. That's where we started. Now, you could ask me why it's so small? For a simple reason. If you make it bigger, let's say twice the size, the cost will be 8 times, etc. So it's quite an expensive proposition. Okay, so you could look at it. We make website, digital books. We started with a few games, 3D puzzle games, and one is using what they call the science fiction skin. And we make a desk set. You know, the people think you could put crosses, etc. Based on the tesseract or the hypercube you could put on your desk as a talking piece when somebody is invited to your office or to your home. The cost factor, so we thought about it and we said, if I want to sell one of these items, I have to manufacture one for one client. We have inventory, all kinds of things, it's not very cost effective. But if we have software application, we make one, and we could sell 1,000 of them without having to do anything, no inventory, no nothing, and we get paid immediately. Okay? And because of the electronic distribution. So we decided to pivot and concentrate on application for therapy puzzle and also what we call geometry puzzle to teach people 2-dimension and 3-dimension geometry. Okay, so after the pivot, we decided to modify and increase our ecosystem because we want to provide a lot of solutions. First was a 3D puzzle I mentioned, which was 3D printed. Next, we have some of the servers, web, blog, digital book. We produce a bunch of video explaining the concept and the characteristic and the benefits. The next one is application. So we have already applications which are existing. The first one, what's called the 4D 3D puzzle, is a science fiction skin. The next one is Fluo, and we have 2 therapy puzzles and 3 geometry puzzles. They are already available, you could already buy them. Okay? And we decided something very fancy, which is a blend of a tesseract and art. So we coined the name a tesseract, and we have made some sculpture. You could see there in 3D printing. And we made also some jewelry. So it's made by 3D printing, but it's metal. Okay. And we make some promo items. We make T-shirts. Guess what? I won't tell you where we buy them. It's a secret. It's a secret. Okay, it's VistaPrint. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier, we have a number of products available for sale now. The 3D printed cube, the box, and application apps, and also some of these gadgets there. Now, apps are at $5.99. It's really cheap for what you could do with them. So, what is the value proposition of our apps? They are very unique. They are inexpensive to buy. We provide free update. You buy one, if you update it, you get a free update. We could develop subscription model for groups, and they transcend language barrier, which is important. You know, the same app with very little change could be used in English, in French, in Japanese, in any language. Okay, financial. We don't have to say too much about it. It's our sweat and blood up to now. So it's bootstrapping to now. But we have created a critical mass of product, physical product, application, books, etc. So now we are ready to go to the next phase, which is to promote, to advertise, mobile marketing, making what it's called now the customer-facing community pages. We could establish partnership, distribution network, and we will create new application. Now, regarding the physical cubes, there we don't know, but we might make some, for example, just give you an idea, for children we could make some in material which is washable. Okay, but that's on the longer term, because it takes a lot of engineering to do, a lot of manufacturing process, and maybe it's not worthwhile. Maybe there is no return on the investment. Okay, now, we have 3 websites, you could see there, and from these 3 websites, you could get all the information I gave you now. You could buy the product, and also you could you get all the information. So that's us. And if you go to LinkedIn, you could see us and see what is our background and etc. So I repeat, we offer a fresh and innovative approach to help therapists assist their patients to achieve life improvement using 3D technology. So thank you for your attention. And we welcome any question. Most likely I won't be able to answer them, but my wife will.
Before that begins, we want to tell you, we'll set it up, but we have some of the apps installed on the laptop over there, and if you want to kind of take a look at them, you can when we finish the presentation.
All right, Tom McKay, great presentation, thank you. A lot of stuff there. One question that popped in my mind, you mentioned therapy and life improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Are there medical studies available that support a claim of life improvement for the process and the products?
Okay, there is a lot of studies which have been done for what they call the sequential 3D puzzle. Okay, but they are quite generic. They don't target that product especially, but similar. You know, if you Google, you could find maybe hundreds of studies regarding 3D puzzles of different kinds.
I'll add this too. I think this might address what he's saying. One of the things, we use the term marketing, which is very broad. That for us, we're wanting to reach out to organizations that do therapy and actually do some testing with the puzzles, trying to find therapists, maybe dealing with dementia patients or people who have brain injuries and things like that. It wasn't specifically mentioned under marketing, but that's a part of what we have in mind specifically for the therapy piece, because we're not going to say that what this will do, but this is what we believe will happen with the studies that we've done so far, but there's definitely testing that needs to be done.
In fact, we resume all this study in that document you could look at if you are interested. Yes?
Hi, my name is Deborah Bradshaw, and I'm very interested in what you're doing. So tell me the background behind how you got started with this project, please. And then also on this app, is there one puzzle for $5.99 or each puzzle costs $5.99?
No.
How does that work?
Okay, we have maybe, in each app we may have 10 to 20 puzzles of different complexity. Now, you said our background or the way it started. I have been working in real-time computing since 1966, okay? And I have always worked in computers until now. But I decided, as you have seen, to go to the CAD, to the games, this type of thing. And my wife is looking after all our website, etc. So we don't duplicate, we complement each other.
Yeah,
but we had, both of us together, 80 years of experience in computing.
Wow.
Yeah, basically, this T-shirt, when he got the idea, the project was Hypercube of Love, which was just going to be a fun puzzle based on those verses. That was going to be an evangelistic tool, and like for Christian people, if they wanted to. Indirectly reach out to people, they could have that on their desks. We were thinking about business people or maybe just employees, and they might try and start playing the puzzle if they ask about it. We could do that. That was the initial project, and we just started to talk to people, particularly our friend that had a very severe accident, and saw that the concept could be expanded even more. But initially we did the Christian version, and we thought, well, we'll just do a secular version of the game, which was the sci-fi and all that. But after talking to our friend who had the brain injury, I guess it's been about 10 years ago, and all the work that it took for her to recover from it, that's when we decided to go into the therapy piece of it. And she works in neuroscience.
Yeah,
And
she's
so
she's
get her doctorate in Oxford, England, and so she's into neuroscience. So this isn't just some Joe Blow person here. And one of our hopes is to get into that world and start meeting some of those people. As it initially started out as a little Christian evangelistic tool, and it has expanded to all of this.
So is it available on iOS and both platforms?
Not yet, but we're working on the iOS version. We have Windows and we have Mac. So we have desktop versions, but we are working on iOS, and if there's a demand for Android, we'll do that as well.
You see, look, the problem with iOS, why we do it next, is it's a therapeutic tool, and some people have already difficulty, to work on a screen which is small, so we started with a big screen of computers, and next it will be on iPad or similar device, and it might be on phone, but on phone it will be good for the puzzle which are for kids. The one we have developed, science fiction and few, but so we do it gradually because, as I said, it's our blood and sweat. So we had to. In fact, most of the time we learn at the same time we develop, because the technology is changing every hour.
As you can tell, we're not young, and we think about eyesight, and I'm wearing glasses. So, for the therapy piece of it, we're not sure about the market for anything smaller than a desktop screen at this point. But like I said, we can research that.
Okay, so it's not really, I don't know whether I'd call that an app or not, but it's available on
Mac and PC.
Okay.
Oh, and also maybe you could add that people could see it's very secure. It's not an application you download and will bring bad stuff to your computer.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Windows lingo for app, but in the Apple world, they do call desktop apps. Okay. So, like I said, we have Windows, but the only time we use it is for testing purposes.
Thank you very much.
So I have two questions. One, if you install it on Windows, it's not a website you visit, you actually download a program on your
Well, you download the app.
Well, you download a setup install file, which is secure. We have the security stuff on there, so it's secure. It's not. We haven't put them in the Windows app stores, Windows or the Mac stores at this point. Like I said, we're learning along with the rest of them. So, but you can download them from our website. We're Apple developers, so if anyone had a problem with it, if we were doing something malicious, we could lose our Apple developer
Yeah, we have
license.
qualified that.
Like I said, we're registered Apple developers for the Mac, and Windows. We're still looking at. I don't know if Windows themselves has one, but we do have a security certificate from one of the most popular security companies for our setup app.
So virtual reality is quickly becoming mainstream. Have you thought about doing anything like this in the virtual
Yes.
Oh, yes.
reality
Yes,
environment?
it's
Yes.
in our plan.
That's in our future plans.
Immersion virtual reality will be the next.
My name's Larry Poor, and I'm a software engineer, and I've developed several mobile apps. That's what I use to distinguish between desktop apps, but I call them mobile apps
Right.
for iPhone and Android devices. But don't know if you're doing that already, but plan to. But seems like your product would be ideal for what we call in-app purchasing, so that you can have a variety of puzzles included with it, but then the option to, if you start getting some traction, then the option to purchase additional puzzles and
Those things are on the table, absolutely.
Yeah. Also, we have written books. One is called 4D 3D Puzzle Book. It's about 150 pages long and explains the genesis of it, the mathematics and everything. And we will embed the app in it.
I may not understand sort of how you come up with these puzzles, but there's a piece of this that feels a little bit more like a creative product that would be protected by copyright rather than patents, which is actually good news. I think copyright is a better protection.
We have a patent pending, and
For the articulations.
yeah, for the articulation and number of things, and we will look at the copyright. The book, we have a copyright on the book, etc., which explain the concept that it's very difficult to protect everything in our case, even on the patent, since we have a physical product and we have a virtual product. And we had to rewrite the document of the patent already 3 times because we have added things that have to be protected.
Yeah. So the comment about the copyright just got me thinking about the way music is sold, and have you thought about with your app perhaps give the app away for free, and every time someone plays a different cue, it's like a song that you wrote, and you get paid a royalty, so that if your distribution channel ends up being the therapist or a medical specialist of some sort.
In fact, we have a puzzle called Basic Puzzle, which uses the same concept you could download for free. We have one.
Yeah, I think he's dealing with possible revenue streams.
Yeah.
We'll definitely keep.
Yeah, we are thinking about it.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Hi, I'm Lori Malone. Question, it seems like the thing that you're most passionate about is the therapy. Is that right?
Right. The therapy and another one, which is geometry. We have made an app where you could visualize the intersection of let's say, 3-dimension object with a plane, or a 3-dimension object between themselves.
Right.
Okay, so that's the 2 things we focus is the therapy and geometry. So we decided to present only the therapy aspect, but that's our first priority. But the second one is geometry, because kids have no clue how to intersect a pyramid and a cone, or a cylinder and a cube, etc. So we already have developed 3 apps for geometry.
Okay, so suggestion. I would completely separate the companies or the under a parent company so that the therapy is completely separate. Don't even talk about the geometry for kids with therapy.
Yeah.
And I would make the headline, instead of the 43 puzzles, I would make it the therapy solutions.
You're absolutely right, and that's why we have 3 websites.
Yes, but even this is.
Yeah, and they are related. But you
No,
know, it's
no,
always
I see what you're saying.
it's always a problem of cost and money, and that's something we do. But all this, if we have 2 or 3 corporations, they will be under one umbrella, which is a corporation called Lightbeat Corp.
But even the addresses, your domains, which are what, $12. I would suggest that instead of starting with the headline of puzzles, you start with the therapy solutions for brain injuries.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's the
Yeah. You're absolutely right. But you know, it's a problem of time for us.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah, sure.
evolving and progressing. Every day we have new ideas. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we have one more question before we leave
Yes.
today. What can the 1 Million Cups community do for you?
One million cup could do a number of things for us. The first is really to help us reach the targets, which are the therapist, the teacher, etc. On the technical side, we might need your help later for virtual reality or this thing, but first we have to establish ourselves, this basis, and to reach the various people who we believe are good clients for such a puzzle. And that, you know, it's more what we need is marketing help, promotion help, more than a technical help at that stage. Or we don't even need a financial help because everything we do is basically our time.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we have
And now
to
money.
go on.
Okay? So it's basically to bring us to the right place, you know, if you have links, because here, you know, it's not only technology people, you have here even in Tulsa, you have doctor, therapist, school teacher, etc. That's the people we want to reach, and we want to accelerate that reach. But 2 of us, it's a challenge. So
Basically,
we need the help.
with people, connect with other people that can help accelerate this marketing process.
Okay, well, we would like to thank you for coming today, and thank everyone. And also, if you know